Welcome to the 2026 10K Valencia Ibercaja by Kiprun. It can proudly claim to be the fastest 10-kilometer road race in the world. Well, world records have been set here in the past. The current world record of 26:24 in the men's race by Ronix Kipruto back in 2020, and Agnes Ngach 2 years ago setting the women's world record of 28:43. Are we going to see world records here this year? Well, that's always a possibility when you come to Valencia, but the focus this year is very much on European records. We're looking perhaps at Andres Almgren. He's been posting some absolutely fantastic sessions on his social media channels, and he set a European record here last year of 26:53. Can he improve on that? We've got some very good African runners as well. There you can see Almgren, very much the focus of attention here. In the women's race, we've got some outstanding Ethiopians. Germawit Gebrazahir leads. She finished second last year in 29:34, but we've got some strong European challengers as well. Here you can see the massed ranks. Well, it's about 5 degrees here, but it is going to get warmer very quickly during the course of the next half an hour to an hour or so. There's no less than 16 starts here. There's 16,000 runners who've been admitted to this race. Entries closed about 2 months ago. This is a very, very popular race, and talking to the race director, Alex Aparacio, last night, he said, well, really, we're at the absolute limit of what we can fit onto the roads of Valencia. You can see the athletes just a little bit earlier. There's a quick glimpse there of Gebrazahir. Kenyans, including Edwin Kurgat. Now, he's going to be very much a strong contender in this race, we'd expect. Hasn't got many road credentials, Kurgat, but he did run a 26:46 on the track last year in Eugene. Marta Garcia, well, she's taking a tilt at the Spanish record. There's going to be a lot of local attention on her. Eilish McColgan, former European record holder, set that mark back in 2022. It's just been supplanted last week by the Belgian runner, Jana van Lent. It was wonderful to see the Kenyans all rhythmically warming up together. There's the women's elite start list. As we were saying, Gebrazahir, that 29:34 from last year, which catapulted her into the top 10 all-time list. Likina Ambor, 29:40 last year as well. She's a very talented runner, ran recently 14:23 to win the Barcelona 5K on New Year's Eve. Now that's an outstanding run from her. Einadis Eberhantu as well, the Ethiopian. So we have in the women's race 2 women under 30 minutes and another 5 who've got career bests under 30:30. Well, Marta Garcia's best, 31:19. She's taking a tilt at Carla Galado's Spanish record of 31:11 from last year. Well, the athletes have been down here for just over an hour, warming up. The meeting hotel, not very far from here. Almgren stripped off, ready to go. Saw a quick glimpse there of the very good Norwegian Per Zavala. Zavala, one of Jakob Ingebrigtsen's training partners, and there's a very, very classy men's elite start list. Kurgat has actually run a 10K on the roads in the past, 27:30, which in itself is a very good time. That was a couple of years ago. I'm very interested to see how Kahiri Bajega runs. Erupted from nowhere to win in Brasov in Romania back last October. 26:54, chased home by Maxim Shumaton, who set a South African record on that occasion of 26:55. And last year, Isaac Kameli just missed out on the podium here in Valencia. 27:10 for a Belgian national record. Will he be in the mix again? Will he be able to climb the podium this year? Kimeli, very engaging, entertaining character. And he's also a fabulous runner, having taken a 5,000 metre silver medal at those World Championships in Tokyo. Almost separated by nationalities, the Kenyans all warming up together, all the Ethiopians warming up together. Give you a few good lessons on how to warm up and some of the exercises you can go through if you're a grassroots runner. No less than 16 starts, so by the time the last start is allowed to go at 10:05, well, the leading runners will have already come home. The back markers, the grassroots runners who will be running more than an hour around the roads of Valencia, will be able to watch the leading runners come home as the start and finish lines are parallel to each other on this Paseo de Alameda in the very heart of Valencia, Spain's biggest. I was going to say biggest, it's actually the third biggest. There's Dawit Sere, Eritrean, set an Eritrean record last year. Sere running 27:21, so we'll be looking to improve on that. Finished 8th last year. That shows the calibre of the race. In 2025, the top 3 men were home in under 27 minutes. First 10 inside 27:30, and no less than 24 runners inside 28 minutes. As I was saying, this 10K Valencia Ibercaja by Kiprun race really can claim to be the very fastest race in the world. Here's an overview of the course as we take a trip around the Valencia Torria Gardens. It's in the very centre of Valencia. So we're running up the west side of the gardens, going north. Then we head past the Valencia Stadium, and then back home, back onto the Paseo de Alameda, which is where the finish line is. The pacemakers in the men's race have been asked to go through the halfway point in 13:25. So in 10K races, you don't need to be a great mathematician to work out that that sets it up for a potential finishing time of around 26:50. That's the European record target time. 2:41 kilometres. So we'll see as they pass each of the kilometres how things are progressing. Last year, it was a really slow first half of the race, 13:43, and we thought all chances of records had evaporated, and then the racing really started in earnest from about the halfway point. Algren ran the last half of the race in 13:10. Wonder if he can do something similar this year. So they're just getting themselves sorted now. Massive elite field. We've got over 60 men who've been invited to this race, all with credentials of 28.5 minutes, and 43 women are on the elite start list. Might be able to hear over the loudspeaker system, 2 minutes to the gun. Just look at that magnificent sight. 16,000 people have been marshalled into those 16 separate starts. Fantastic job of the volunteers here. There's Scott Beattie, 4th in the recent European Cross-Country Championships. Andrew Buchart as well. Isaac Kimeli, talked about him. Zach Mohammed. So the Britons all aiming for Rory Leonard's British record of 27:38 set last year, which certainly caused headlines as he took 6 seconds off the venerable Mo Farah's British record. And Alex Aparacio gets them away. So there's about 150 runners who've run under 29.5 minutes. They're effectively going to be the pacers in the women's race. There's no official pacer in the women's race. Talking with Alex Aparacio, he said, well, with so many good runners are just below the international standard. They're going to effectively act as pacers for the women's race. So let's keep a sharp eye on how they pass through the first kilometre. 2:41 we're looking for. It's a little bit on the chilly side here this morning compared to last year. Last year it was a very pleasant 11, 12 degrees at start time. Designated pacer is Agesa Negasa. It's a 13-14 man on the track. He's done quite well pacing, still only 20 years of age. He's a training partner of Kihiri Bajiga. And there we can see Almgren already tucked behind him. Almgren's not hanging around here. It's about a 3 or 4 metre gap to the rest of the leading group. Almgren has been posting some absolutely fantastic times in training. He's been doing a lot of his work indoors in Sweden. If you look at his Instagram account, it's not difficult to find if you just Google for it. So he ran a session 2 Saturdays ago, 10 times 1 kilometre. Starting at 2:38 and then gradually getting faster and faster, finishing on 2:28. Just 1 minute recovery. That's outstanding running. Almgren had the first and last European records of last year. Got the 10 kilometre European record. Just 12 days into the new year last year in 2025 and finished the year in Valencia, returning to the Valencia for the half marathon. 58:41 set a European record. Into the bargain in the summer, got himself a World Championship 10,000 metre bronze medal and also set a European record, 12:44 and change, over 5,000 metres on the track. What a talent Almgren is. And it's just remembered, just over a decade ago, he started out his international career winning an 800 metres bronze medal at the World Under-20 Championships. So he's really flying here, Almgren. The other runners looking like Kurgat just behind him. Probably hear the sounds of Chimi Bayo. Bayo, famous Spanish DJ, really motivating all the starters. A few top hits in the 1990s, still a very popular figure. Kilometre and a half, just going around one of the many roundabouts. There's 6 roundabouts they have to pass by on this course. Spain's got a reputation as a country of roundabouts. It's certainly beloved by town planners here in Spain. To do it yesterday, and it's apparently the country in the world with the second most roundabouts, nearly 38,000 of them. Leading runners, and as we were saying, they're really being paced by some very, very good men who are just below international standard. Marta Garcia. Just a little bit off the pace of the women's leaders. She's really running her own race. She's being paced by a well-known marathon runner, Daniel Mateo, looking at around the 31-minute mark. That's obviously for someone like Matteo, very well within his capabilities. Ran a 2:10 marathon recently in Malaga. See quite a lot of Marta Garcia. We're back up the front of the men's race. So 2.2 kilometres. Wouldn't it be nice to have a 2 kilometre split there? He's looking at this stage well on course to attack the European record. Now the rest behind him have closed up. Kurgat's in there. This is Mikula Kipkande making his debut in this race. That's a bit of a surprise from Kipkande. Certainly showing some fearless running though. This is a slight change to last year. We've actually moved just away from the Torreya Gardens. This actually gives the racers a little bit more shelter. There's not much of a breeze out there. Last year it was slightly more breezy in their faces for the first 3 kilometres. Now there's Vijayaguru as well up there. Number 5. Isaac Kimeli in the pack as well. So we're coming up to 3 kilometres. Keep an eye on the time. So, just passing the 3 kilometre mark now as we head on to the Assault the Ore Bridge. I make it to almost exactly on 26.50 pace. There's the famous Hemisferico. To the famous City of Sciences and Arts here in Valencia. See there in the distance, we're actually looking south. There's the port area of Valencia. So we're just crossing the bridge now. This is past perhaps the most open part of the race. Pacemakers almost become redundant here. Kande's working really hard at the front. See Kimele just a bit further back. In about 30-35 seconds adrift of the leading men at this stage. Now it's on to the west side of the Paseo. I was going to say the Paseo de Alameda. That's of course on the other side. Garcia sticking to a task here. Garcia, European bronze medalist over 5,000 metres in 2024, and very well to finish 7th over the same distance at the World Championships in Tokyo. Daniel Matteo just turning around, just checking where she is. Doing a really good job, Matteo, at this stage. So Garcia on course for Spanish record. Leaders not that far away from the 4-kilometre checkpoint now. So they're coming along the west side of the Torria Gardens, passing the Hemisférico. One of 8 structures that were built to create the City of Sciences and Arts, this magnificent Calatrava designed area. Almgren's decided just after 4 kilometres. That enough. That's Bejega following him now. Bejega doing a very good job of just tracking him. We've got Victor Kipruto up there as well. Last year it descended into a 3-man race over the final kilometre, with Almgren just beating out Dominic Labalu of Switzerland, another of the very talented contingent of Kenyans race around the world to Langat. This year it's Victor Kipruto up there representing Kenya, but it's Almgren flying the flag for Sweden and Europe at the moment as we come up to the halfway point. And this is very, very quick indeed. 13:20 equates to 26:40 pace. Well, unofficially, I make that 13:14. That is super quick. That is sub 26:30 pace. Worth remembering that that's even quicker than Ronets Kipruto ran in his world record run here back in 2020. Looking it up, it's 13:18 from 6 years ago. Now we're talking about a European record. Can Almgren maintain his pace now? He's out on his own. Bejega and Kipruto following him, the rest not really in contention now. And Almgren has just shown over the years that he's very capable of just running these time trial style races on his own. Outstanding running here from this Kenyan woman. Still Almgren up front now. 5.5 kilometres into this race. Brenda Jepchirchir, based in the United States, Jepchirchir. Jepchirchir went through the halfway point in 14:31. She's got a 4-second lead. We haven't really seen it over Ambrew. And two more Kenyans very close in contention. Claire Chematai and Faith Cherono up there as well. So at the moment, Brenda Jepchirchir looking very strong indeed. Grassroots runners back up the front of the men's race. Now, just flicked away. He's just gone past the 6-kilometre point. I make him on course, certainly for within 26:40. Now can he maintain the pace? Bajega's not letting him get away though. Bajega working very hard. As I say, Bajega really made a fantastic breakthrough in Brasov. He's just 19 years of age, this Ethiopian, hails from the Oromo region. He was discovered just running local races and has been recruited and trains in Addis Ababa over the course of the last year and has made a great leap forward. A little bit difficult to tell how Monta Garcia is doing, but I think she's still well on course for a Spanish record. And the men around her are all running around 31 minutes as well. Good club runners. Garcia doing well at this stage. So he's at about 6.5 kilometres now, Almgren. Ruto seems to have dropped back. It's just Bajega on his shoulder. This is starting to turn into a two-man race. I'll give you the official split. Almgren went through 5 kilometres in 13:28. It looks as though he's speeded up over the last 2 kilometres, and as we remember from last year when he ran the second half of the race in 13:10, he's very capable of throwing in a negative split. He's got a fantastic capacity to be able to just crank up the pace over the course of the last 3 or 4 kilometres in a 10-kilometre race. Brenda Jepchirchir still doing well at the front of the women's race. So Jepchirchir still running well inside 30 minutes. Something around the 29.5 finishing time if she can maintain this sort of pace. About 7.5 kilometres now, 3/4 of the way into the race. Take a very sharp left-hand bend, the only left-hand bend to the Mestalla area. So move away from the Turia Gardens to about 2 kilometres and then come back into the home straight on the Paseo de Alameda. We've got about 500 metres running straight to the finish line. Further down the field, down the women's race. Yeah. Garcia still sticking to her task very well. Just coming up to 7 kilometres. Probably a little bit shy of that, 6.5 kilometres, but there she's just turning onto the bridge. She's still very much on course for a Spanish record pace. First woman to run under 31 minutes and wear a Spanish vest, but up front, Brenda Jepchirchir. She's going to absolutely smash her personal best of 31.10. To say she did run a bit faster than that. That's slightly incorrect. She did run after that Brasov race a 30.04 in Lille at the end of the year. Just checking my notes. She's well on course for a new personal best. Going well under 29 minutes, 28. I should say 30 minutes. Just getting a little bit carried away. Well, in the women's race, has been dominated by Kenya since this became an international race in 2018. Won it on 6 occasions. Bajega still on his shoulder. He's not letting Almgren go. Roger still very relaxed though. Well past 8 kilometres now. Two more right turns before the finish line over this final just under kilometre and a half. This is fantastic running from Jepchirchir as well. She's hit 8 kilometres in unofficially 23 minutes exactly. So she's at the moment on course to run under 29 minutes. This will be one of the fastest times we've ever seen. Now, just to mark your card, Agnes Ngach on this course ran a world record of 28.46 2 years ago. Almgren now coming up to them, passing the north side of the Mestalla Stadium, Valencia Stadium. Not that far away from the 9 kilometre point. Well, last night Valencia drew 1-1 at home to Elche. They're struggling, they're in the relegation zone and facing going down to the second division for the first time in 40 years. But on top of his game is certainly Andres Almgren. Kahiri Bajega doing extremely well. Now, Jepchirchir looks as though she's flagging very slightly. Looks as though she's tired. It's sometimes a little bit deceptive. Now this looks like Wede Kafala Bellu. And now Almgren turning the screw, starting to put some distance between himself and Bajega. He's just past the 9 kilometre mark. He's got about 2 minutes of running left. Now he's got a bit between his teeth. Bajega starting to flag. There's no one else in sight. He's looking secure at the moment in second place. But it's Andres Almgren. This isn't going to come down to a sprint finish over the final 100 metres like last year. It's Almgren away. Well, the focus of attention was all on Almgren. Now it's just a question of the Swede against the clock. And a minute and a half, less than a minute and a half perhaps, of running. He's turning the corner. He's got about 500 metres to run. Well, the European record looks as though it's going to be smashed. Bajega has gone, but he's well on course still to improve his personal best. Bajega, the Ethiopian, tiring, but there's no stopping Andres Almgren. Almgren pumping his arms, and he's on course perhaps to even take the world record now with the finish line in sight. Andres Almgren, well, Mondo Duplantis has been setting world records with ease in the pole vault, but there could well be another Swedish world record breaker. The European record for sure has gone. It's just a few meters still to go. They're waving him on. 26:24 is the world record. Can he make it? It's going to be tight. Almgren is just missing out on the world record, but the European record has gone, is out of sight by a very, very large margin. Andres Almgren breaks the tape. 26:42. He's taken 11 seconds off his own European record. He came here with that in sight. It was set up for him, and Andres Almgren improves his own European 10-kilometer record here in Valencia. Well, this is Victor Kiprun coming home. We didn't see Bajega go across the line. I'm pretty sure Bajega hung on for second place. Kiprun takes third. Said Machal. Well, that's a record for Spain, boss. Said Machal, his brother, his better known brother Adel Machal, is watching somewhere. And there's going to be a host of other records as well. I think that might even be a German record for Richard Ringer. Ringer, the former European marathon champion, came here unheralded. Hasn't had great form, but that looks as though it might well be a German record for Ringer. Might just have missed out. Petros, Aminal Petros, 27:32. I think poor Richard Ringer might have just missed out for a couple of seconds, but there's no doubting. Said Machal has taken more than 10 seconds off the Spanish record set last year by Elis FIFA. Still Brenda Chepchirchir, after looking as though she was struggling for a minute or two, she's now got her rhythm back and she's looking absolutely fantastic. She's now back in the finishing straight. Not going to be a world record for Brenda Chepchirchir, but she's absolutely flying. Still a couple more 100 or so meters to the line. She's just going to miss out on becoming just the second woman to break 29 minutes. So Brenda Chepchirchir flanked by a huge number of very good runners, all men who can be very, very proud of what they're doing. But she takes the win in the women's race, 29:22 unofficially, and that moves her up to 4th on the world all-time list. Just behind her, Wedi Kafala Belau of Ethiopia, and that'll be a massive personal best for Ethiopian. Now, lots of local interest on what Marta Garcia can do. She's looking as though she's just a few hundred meters away from the line. It looks as though the Spanish record is going to go. 2 Spanish records in the same race. Getting urged on by the DJ, Chimubayo, at the finish line. I'm sure she can hear him. She might not be listening to him though. Probably tuning him out, just keeping her form focused and paying attention. 31:11, the existing record by Carla Gallardo, set in Laredo last year. But Garcia European medalist 2 years ago when we were in Rome, but she's improved enormously over the last 18 months. Can she do it? It's going to be tight. She sort of like almost disappeared there in the phalanx of very, very good regional runners, sub-international runners. Where is Marta Garcia? Is she going to make it? I don't think she is. She's just going to miss out just ever so slightly by a few seconds. There's some other good runners coming through though. I have to give you confirmation. I think Marta Garcia just missed out on the Spanish record. Well on course for it until perhaps the final kilometre or so. Whole host of other good runners coming home. Just to give you the 1, 2, 3 in the men's race, Andres Almgren, a new European record of 26:44. Kahiri Bejega improves his personal best by 4 seconds to 26:50, the Ethiopian in second place, and Victor Kiprun a little way back, 27:16. We didn't see much of him. Well, we didn't see many photos, I say, of Elish McColgan. Just looking up now. Yes, it does appear that McColgan has shaved a few seconds off her personal best and recaptured the European record. Give you confirmation of that. We're still waiting for some details of that. Yes, I can confirm Elish McColgan, 30:07. We didn't really see very much of her, sadly. I can't recall seeing barely any photo of her. We're just listening now to Sain Machal. So 17 seconds off the Spanish record for Machal. Had a disappointing run in Brasov back in October. He was hoping for a Spanish record there, but he's obviously reset and come back here, and this is the place where you want to come. I think we've got a whole host of other national records as well. I'm starting to get some of the results through. I think there's in sixth place, Magnus Tuve Myre, and I saw Hendrik Ingebrigtsen floating around the course a little bit earlier before we started this transmission. Tuve Myre gets her Norwegian record, finishing just in front of Machel in sixth place, 27:21. And in fact, the German record did fall, but not to Richard Ringer, but the man in fifth place, Mohamed Abdullahi, 27:21 as well, just beating out Mahir. Seeing now, well, these are all, in the women, very, very good club runners. Some Masters runners there who'll if they're running 35.5 minutes for 10K, will certainly be deserving of Masters International vests. Still a wonderful sight. Just the last people, about a minute ago, were let go from the very last box on the finish line, on the start line, I should say, as the leaders cross the finish line. Just waiting for confirmation of the results. All men. Well, you come to Valencia looking for your personal best, and there's a plethora of personal bests. So what a fantastic race. European records in both the men's and the women's races. As I say, the European record for Eilish McColgan caught us all by surprise there. I think probably caught the TV director by surprise. But 30.07, she recaptures that time from Jana van Len.
It's so nice to come back.
But today was a really tough race. You were in front all the race, and well, the finish line, you were telling me that it was really tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely the best conditions I've ever had here. It's so good, but I had to take the front from basically 3 kilometers.
What as well? I've seen on my results in 11th place. Joe Whitfield.
It's not much, but it's a little bit on the headwind on the back straight and then on the final straight.
International credentials.
When you turn the corner and you see the finish line over there, it's like,
British record
soon
by
there.
1
it's like,
second.
Oh, I have 2 minutes left
So
almost.
a big shout out to the man from
It feels
Merseyside,
so long,
Joe
you get so
Whitfield.
tired, but I'm very happy with the race.
So 26.44 more or less, I don't know exactly, but
improved his
Irish
record
running
to 27.37.
I said like around 10-second PB, that's like on par.
Paid his
so
own way
that's
here.
Acceptable. But I feel like I have very fast times in me, but if I could have a pacer for 6 or 7K and then go hard the last 3, I think I can run very fast.
in 15th place.
But, I'm very happy with what I did today.
Came here.
So thank you, Andreas, and see you in Valencia next year, and maybe in autumn in the 20K.
To
this is not the last time I'm here.
So we're talking about the European influence on this race. It's been an absolutely fantastic day for European runners. Many of them using this race as chance to qualify for the European Athletics Championships, which will be coming up in Birmingham later on this summer. So everybody checking their watches. And this is the closing stage of the race. This is the point where Almgren pulled away from Bajega. And then the final couple of 100 meters. .26.44, a European record by 9 seconds. Bajega looking very tired, but can still take a huge amount of credit. 26.50. Almgren moves up to equal 5th on the world all-time list for this event. And Bajega comes in at equal 9th. Brenda Jepchich here. She zooms up the world all-time list as well. She moves up to 4th. As the crowd still continue to come home in Valencia, and they're going to be doing that for the best part of another hour. And the sun now starting to brighten up. Well, the cold conditions didn't bother the likes of Almgren, Jepchich, Eilish McColgan. Just look at that, the mass ranked Is coming home in 40 minutes, a very respectable time for a club runner. But there's still thousands out on the course as they work their way up and down these Jardines de Turia, the Turia Gardens, the drained former Turia River. I'm sure many of you know there was some dreadful floods back in 1957, so the local authorities decided to drain and reroute the river. And it's now one of the main attractions of Valencia, and what a wonderful city Valencia is for running. It's known as the City of Running, and they have magnificent marathon here in
Ellis McColgan,
the latter part of the
new
year.
European record. We are talking the seconds 30, 06, 07 maybe.
Let's have
Congrats.
a few words from Ellis
I
McColgan.
understand you are really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is my first time in Valencia, so I've heard some incredible things about this race, and it's my first time actually racing with this many men around me. You know, there's like 300 people sub 30 minutes, which is just unmatched anywhere in the world. So at no point in that race was I running solo, which is the very first time I've ever had that. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with today.
I understand also that you are really happy because you were focused on the marathon, and now you're still a fast runner in the 10K, maybe your favorite distance?
Yeah, do you know, it's been a really tough 3 years for me, from setting like the national record on the track over 10K. I've just had knee surgery, and it's been a long process getting back to this fitness again, and I was a little bit rushed into London Marathon last year, so this year we tried to focus on getting my speed back up to where it needs to be, and I'm actually really proud of myself. Crossing that line today I was a little bit emotional because, as I said, it's just been a very long 3 years to get back to this level again, but yeah, I think everyone today helped me that last couple of kilometres, and a really special race to be a part of.
Okay, so congrats for this comeback, and see you in Valencia next year, or maybe in the half marathon, the marathon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of these like bucket list races. I don't know how I've got to this age and never done Valencia before. So yeah, I'd love to come back and try and have a go at running sub 30. To see 30 flash up on the clock today, and then see those 6 seconds go by, I think, oh, what if? So yeah, I would love to come back for the half, and yeah, maybe even the marathon one day, because I know it's renowned for running quick and fast times, and I've got the chance to experience that today myself.
Thank you so much, Elise, and congrats.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, fantastic run there from Elise McColgan. Made a marathon debut last year in the London Marathon. As you say, she rather rushed into it with some rather hurried preparation. Lost her European record over this distance just a week ago. Jana van Lent running 30:10 in Nice, but has responded with aplomb and reclaimed that record by 3 seconds. She's really battled back after injuries. She had knee and spine injuries over the last 2 years, came back to running. Took a European bronze medal in 2022 over 5,000 meters, European silvers 5,000 in 2018, and then 2022. Just wondering whether we're going to see her battling on the track with the likes of Nadia Battocletti over 10,000 meters when we get to those European Championships in the summer in Birmingham. And of course, McColgan, she'll certainly be roared on by a home crowd in the Midlands of Great Britain. Well, we're up to 10 degrees now, as you can see on that city weather monitor. Still a bit chilly here. Nevertheless, everybody getting very warm with a brisk 10 kilometers around the streets of Valencia. And there we have Chimo Bayo, a shot of the man. Had a couple of chart toppers in Spain, remains a very popular club DJ. Really started off the electronica boom in Spain back around 30 years ago. Well, it is bright sunlight, so Sunglasses are quite useful. Still coming through. It's an absolutely fantastic event. About 35% of the runners, the 16,000 runners, are women. About half the field comes from the city of Valencia and the Valencia region itself. Of course, huge international participation. Looking down. As we look into the north there, to the old city centre, it's Valencia. As I said earlier in the programme, third largest Spanish city after Barcelona and Madrid. Just over 800,000 inhabitants here, many of them runners. Dates its origins back to Roman times. There's a colony established here, according to the history books, back in 138 BC. A city that's been in existence for well over 2,000 years. Andres Almgren, not quite a course record, that still belongs in the hands of Ronix Kiprun, that world record from 2020, 2024. Almgren does get one additional accolade in addition to his European record. He becomes the first ever repeat winner here since it became an international race. In the men's race, we've had 3 Kenyans, 2 Ethiopians, a Norwegian and a Ugandan win, and now 2 wins for Andres Almgren last year and this year. Kenyan domination of the women's race, though, continues. The 7th win out of 9 achieved by Brenda Jepchirchir. Just coming up for 50 minutes since the gun went, and still the thousands stream past the finish line. Well, there's plenty of cafes and bars around this area, so I'm sure after a little bit of a warm down and meet and greet with the family, many people are going to go off and have a little bit of breakfast perhaps. I think I'm going to do that very shortly. We see the start again. So we look once again at Andres Almgren and Brenda Jepchirchir taking the plaudits here at the 10K Valencia Ibercaja by Kiprun for 2026. National records all round, 2 European records. It's time for me, Phil Minshall, to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this year's live stream from the world's fastest 10-kilometer race.
Got my heart, no